Welcome to the Phase 4 Tuesday workout for the squat and hamstring pattern. This is the first workout in the foundation movement system where you move away from all the unilateral work, the step-ups and everything, and we start moving into bilateral squatting. So make sure you stick around and watch all of the tutorials in this video so that you can do this awesome workout at home or at the gym on your own. All that and more coming up.
We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image.
All right, now we're on to the 45-degree face-to-wall handstand. This is where you're actually, for the first time, you're starting to get up into a handstand position. So it's starting to get a little bit exciting. Now, there's a couple of things that you need to have before you do this. The first is that we're going to go through some shoulder strength, some of the wrist strengthening. You've done all of this before in the warm-up, but we're now actually going to be doing this as a strengthening exercise. And this is going to be a bonus to the program. This isn't written anywhere in the program. You need to find the time to do this yourself. So after you've done your one set of the wrist warm-up and everything that you do that you've been doing in the program, the wrist circles, we're then going to go into the strengthening. Now I want to emphasize the importance of what this stuff is doing for you. So far you've only done it as a warm-up. Now we're doing it as strength training. So the first knuckle push-up, index finger facing forward, elbows turned in, thumb off the ground. Now what you want to be working towards is being able to do this on your feet like I am here. So I'm on my feet, my elbows are in, I'm coming up and then down. Now if any of you try this, film yourself, have a look and see if your elbows are staying in like mine are there. It took me a lot of work to be able to do that. When I first tried, as soon as I even tried to go up on my knuckles, my elbows just went out like that. And if you're doing that, you don't have the strength in your wrists yet for a good handstand. So how do you get there? Well, first thing, you're going to go back onto your knees to do them. Then you'll do eccentric, so you'll come up on your knees, then go on your feet and go down slowly. And then after that, you'll go onto your feet. The next one, wrist push-ups, it's the same thing. You want to try and get on your feet. Fingertip push-ups, no real change there. To be honest, all of the other exercises, it's exactly the way I've taught it in the warm-up. But what I want to talk to you now is about the programming, the volume. You want to do this either 2 or 3 times a week for 3 sets of 10 reps. So you're doing it like a proper strength training protocols. The warm-up, the stretching, you only do once, but then the 5 exercises that you do for strengthening, so the 5th one being this one here, we want to do 3 sets of 10 reps of all 5 of those exercises. You take no break between each exercise. You basically just come up, shake your hands out for about 5 or 10 seconds, then go to the next one. Once you've done a full set, you can rest for 30 seconds, and then you just go through again. And if you're not doing that 2 or 3 times a week, so 2 times would be Monday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Friday, or Wednesday, Saturday, whatever. 3 times would be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. If you're not doing that, for I'd say 3 to 6 months, your wrists are not going to be strong enough to do handstands, and you're going to really struggle with it. The next thing that you need to be able to do is have good shoulder flexion, which means you need to be able to get your arms up above your head. Otherwise, you're going to run into a lot of problems in your shoulders. So what you want to be doing here is bringing your arms right up to the wall and being able to touch the wall whilst your lower back is flat on the wall. So you can't really see it because I'm wearing this shirt and I've got this mic on, but what I'm doing is I'm sucking my stomach in so that my lower back pushes against the wall. So my entire back from my head to my shoulders is against the wall. My feet are together off the wall just a little bit. And now from here, I'm going to keep my arms completely straight and lift my arms up until they touch the wall. Now if you're not getting that, if your lower back comes off the wall to make that happen, or if you're only getting to here, you don't yet have the shoulder flexibility to be working on a handstand. And if you try and work on a handstand, I guarantee you're going to run into problems in your shoulders. That's a real ego hit for a lot of people. People want to jump straight into handstands, and it's one of those calisthenics moves that people are really, really keen on. But when you look at the positioning of a handstand, it is you have to be able to get your hands above your head. It's full on the body. You can see the angle that my hands need to be at. If I can't get there, the only way I'm going to be able to do it is to arch my back, and that puts an excessive amount of pressure in the shoulder and the upper back, and you do not want to be doing that. So you must be able to develop that overhead shoulder flexibility. Now, if you can't get your hands into that position, make sure that you watch the overhead flexibility video that's in the additional content for high achievers. You must really master that stuff, and you want to make that your, a big part of your life. That needs to be, that's a daily thing, doing that stuff. So all of that said, you've got your shoulder conditioning, your shoulder flexibility right, you've got your wrist conditioning there. Now we're ready to work on the 45-degree face-to-wall handstand. So Richard's going to set up with his hands out quite a distance from the wall. He's going to bring one leg up and then the other one, and he's going to get into his position in his own time. And now let's push those shoulders and head back as hard as you can, Richie, pushing the feet in towards there a bit more, bum in a bit more. Good, nice. You can go on your toes, Richie. Go. Richard hasn't done this one for a little while, so there we go. Yeah, so look at that. What we're trying to get as best as we can is a line from the heels down to the hands as best as you can. So it's pretty full on. If you can come down now, Richie. It's actually a really full on position to do, because when you get up there and you're trying to hold where you push your shoulders through like that. So I'm trying to avoid being out like this. I'm trying to push my shoulders in like that, and at the same time to hold the posterior pelvic tilt, so to suck the stomach in and to tense the glutes. That's what you're looking for. Those are the cues. So flexing the shoulders as much as you can, pushing your head towards the wall and creating that posterior pelvic tilt, so as best as you can, you get this straight line. So when you film yourself, incorrect, correct. All right, and that is the 45-degree face to wall. Now, between every set of your handstand training from here on, so for the 45-degree face to wall handstand, face to wall, anything that we do from here, we're going to be doing a handstand hang between sets. So basically what you're doing is you're going to hold your handstand for as long as you can, in this case the 45-degree face to wall handstand, or whatever progression it is that you're doing, and you'll do that for as long as you can, up to a minute, and then you'll jump off the wall. You're going to come and do the handstand hang, but the time between when you end your handstand, the rest that you have, including the handstand hang, that time before, when you end the handstand before you go back to the next one, will only be 1 minute. You do not want to take longer than that. So the handstand hang, I've got to go to a bar that's high enough that my feet can easily be off the ground. You'll notice that my hands are very close together. I'm going to do a dead hang, so completely relaxed, and I'm going to look up just enough so that I can see the bar. So I'm not looking like this at the bar. I'm trying to keep my spine in as much alignment as I can. Now I'm going to point my toes, tense my quads, suck my stomach in and tense my bum. So what I'm doing there is my shoulders are completely relaxed, my upper body is completely relaxed, but I'm drawing my belly button in, tensing my glutes to create a posterior pelvic tilt, keeping my knees straight and pointing my toes. So basically from here down, I'm doing exactly what I do in the front body line, so that I'm basically, my body is, it's this principle of a push-pull. When you're in a handstand, you're pushing and gravity is compressing your spine. When you do a handstand hang, you're pulling and gravity is decompressing your spine. So it's really important to always approach your training with a push-pull perspective on things. Every push has a pull and every pull has a push to it. And that is the handstand hang. This is the glute loop goblet squat. So Richard's got a glute loop, this band around his knees here, like that. And he's just holding a kettlebell upside down. Hands together, elbows in, and now he's just going to squat. So the idea of the glute loop, just do a couple of reps, is it forces Richard to resist by pushing his knees out against the glute loop, which is really important to develop the hip strength to create external rotation, or rather to prevent internal rotation. If this is weak, just do a bad squat where your knees go in, Richie. That is just so common in squatting. So that's what we're trying to work on here. Now, if that is too easy for you, then what you want to do is elevate your heels. We've got these awesome heel elevation plates here, but if you're at a regular gym, if you just get a couple of like 5 kilo weight plates, something that's about 1 inch high to put your heels up on, and that, it basically just makes up for a lack of ankle flexibility, and it's going to allow you to go all the way down in the squat nice and easy. So just do a couple of reps, Richie. It's so much easier to go deeper in your squat when you've got a heel elevation like this. So there's a lot of tests that you can do to figure out whether or not it's your ankles or your hamstrings or your lower back or your glutes or whatever it is that's tight that prevents you from going all the way down. But in most cases, this fixes it for people. So if you're struggling with the squat, just elevate your heels like that. And that is the glute loop goblet squat. All right, now we're on to the bent hip Nordic hamstring curl. So for this one here, you need basically, we've got these awesome bars set up in between our squat racks. So these are permanently here for us to do these at Unity Gym. But basically you need to be able to anchor your feet. So you need to get creative with this. Now, if you can't anchor your feet like this easily and you've got access to a hamstring curl machine at a gym, you can absolutely use that. We have a minimal amount of equipment at Unity Gym because we like the open space. We want to be able to do more movement type exercises, so we really limit the amount of equipment that we have here. So we do all our hamstring curls with either fit balls or with the using Nordic hamstrings curls like this, and these are an awesome hamstring curl. But if you find it really hard to anchor your feet, you can use just a regular hamstring curl machine. But these are really good, so try to find a way to anchor your feet. See if there's something that you can get your ankles under there. Let's go, Richie. So bend hip, he's bending at the hips, touching his head to the ground, coming back up. The more that his hips are forward, the harder it is. So move your hips back 2 inches and now forward 2 inches. That much movement is enough to completely change the exercise. So if you go down and then as you come up, your hips go back, you are dramatically going to make this easier. Whereas if you go down and then as you come back, you try and push your hips forward, it's way harder. So go again, Richie. Unreal, awesome. See how he's pushing his hips forward like that? And at the end, he's trying to tuck his pelvis forward to get a posterior pelvic tilt and get maximum glute activation. Now check this out. If that's too hard for you, you can grab onto a band. Now this band is going to be way too thick for Richard for his strength, so he's going to need to really push his hips forward to even be able to get down. But just do a couple of reps, Richie. See, look at that. Look how it's way easier to go down like that. Okay, but you could imagine if he was still doing the same thing, if he did that with this band, he won't even go anywhere because that band's so thick. But if you have a band, if it's way too hard for you, then you can grab onto a band. But in all honesty, you really shouldn't need a band for this progression because you can just control how far forward or how far back your hips are. And that is the bent hip Nordic hamstring curl. Now we're on to the mid-shin height front step up. Front step up means you're facing forward to the step. Mid-shin means that the step is roughly at the height of the middle of your shin. This is seriously taking it up a notch for your lower body strength. We are out of the conditioning phase and we are well and truly into the progressions phase to really build some good strength. So Richard's got a barbell on his shoulders. The amount of weight that you lift is going to be completely up to you. And let's get a couple of reps going, Richie. Beautiful. So with this one, you do go a little bit slower on the way down, fast on the way up, but with the step-ups in phase 1, 2, and 3 of the program, it was always a 1-0-1-0 tempo, so you're going up for 1 second, down for 1 second. For this one, you go down with a little bit more control. Take note that the knee is tracking over the toes, so see it's pushing forward. When he comes up to the top, you can see he pushes his hip forward, and besides that, it's pretty simple, and that is the mid-shin height front step up. All right, now we're on to the single leg hip thrust. The differentiation between a hip thrust and a glute bridge is when you're laying down with your back flat on the ground. A hip thrust is when your shoulders are up on the bench. So what you want to make sure here is that the shoulder blades are above the bench. If your body is too low, you'll slide off the bench. So let's just do a couple of reps, Richie. So it's just a single leg, so he's driving through the heel. You can see, look at that, his toes are even coming off the ground there, okay? And he's driving through the heel. When you get to the top, you want to really push the hips forward, tense the glutes, and as always, this is another one of those exercises we don't want to make eye contact with anyone while we're doing it, and definitely don't wink at anyone. You don't want to be getting winked at while someone's doing this one, do you? Besides that, it's pretty basic. When you get to the top, posterior pelvic tilt, tense the glutes, drive through the heel, and that is the single leg hip thrust. 3 progression for the LSIT. This is where it's starting to get pretty challenging now. Richard's going to demonstrate. Basically, when you do the LSIT, you just need to bring your feet to level with the ground, so parallel with the legs. fully depressing the shoulders with no protraction or retraction. Nothing too complicated about that. Jump off, Richard. Now, the keys with the LSIT really, just like the last progressions, it's just about depressing your shoulders and no protraction or retraction. So the only difference here is by having both legs out in front as opposed to the single leg LSIT, there's more leverage, more of a mechanical disadvantage. Now what we're going to do is teach you how to do compression strength. Compression strength is literally the ability to be able to compress your chest and knees together, and it's critical for a lot of gymnastics work later on, and as we use some of these gymnastics moves like the press to handstand, you're going to need to know this. So the first thing we're going to do is Richard's going to do a hamstring stretch. So he's going to pull his toes back and he's going to grab onto his toes like that. If you want to increase the stretch, what you can do is actually grab with your hands around the side of the feet, bring the feet together and turn the toes out, pull back as hard as you can. So pull your hands back, Richie, that's it. And yeah, that's getting a wicked hamstring stretch there for Richard. Now if you want to make it even more intense, put this down here, and what this does is, now what I want you to do when you grab on, forcefully pull the toes back as hard as you can. You're feeling that more in the calves now? Yeah, it's full on. That gets in the calves, back of the knees and the hamstrings. You're going to hold that for 30 seconds. Once you've finished, you will rest for 10 seconds and then you're going to reach forward as far as you can go. As a beginner, you put your fingers on the ground like this. More advanced, you put your palms on the ground. And Richard, just do a couple of reps for us. What he's doing here, just relax now. So you don't have many reps to do with this because of how much it fatigues you. You're trying to tense the quads as hard as you can, and then you're not thinking about lifting the toes off the ground. What you're thinking of doing is lifting your knees towards your chest. When you think of lifting your knees to your chest, that's going to help you to not lean back. If you just think of lifting your toes off the ground, often people lean back, which is what we don't want. So just do a couple more reps, Richie. Knees up to the chest, awesome, okay. And you want to aim for probably 10 reps like that. So what you want to do is, at this level with the LSIT, you want to be doing a 50-50 work time with the LSIT and the compression strength. So you do one set of LSIT, one set of compression strength, like that for that part of the workout. And that is the LSIT. All right, now we're on to the prone single leg straddle extension. Straddle refers to the position where your legs are open, okay? Prone is laying face down, single leg, obviously one leg. Okay, so let's do a couple, Richie. So the first leg's gonna go out and then bring it in and then change legs. Go out to the other side, beautiful. So what he's doing is just trying to get his leg to roughly horizontal height, okay? That's actually quite a challenge for people. A lot of people go higher than that, you don't need to. And we're trying to, as best as we can, keeping a posterior pelvic tilt. So go into full extension in your lower back when you do this next one. See how his back's arching? That's what you're going to want to do, but you're gonna fight that, okay? Now do a couple of good ones. So look at that, beautiful. Posterior pelvic tilt, leg goes out straight, and going out on a 45-degree angle. And that is the prone single leg straddle extension. All right, now we're on to the bent knee hollow body rock. This exercise is absolutely brutal. It is so much harder than what people give it credit for. So I want you to pay very close attention to the cues. Now, to start with, the knees should be at a 90-degree angle. So the feet are going to be a little bit further away for Richie, knees together. Hands down by the side. He's going to lift his chin up and curl his abs like that. Now he's going to lift his feet off the ground and now create a rocking motion. Beautiful, just keep going, Richie. Look at these pointers here. The pelvis and the bum comes off the ground when he goes back. The shoulders don't go up very much when he comes forward. At the end range of the motion, his feet are only coming about a foot off the ground. Look at that. When he goes to the bottom, his feet go down to just a couple of inches off the ground, and he's relatively maintaining this 90-degree angle in the knees and a roughly 45 to 90-degree angle in the hips. And look at that beautiful rocking motion. Do some bad ones where you bottom out. See that? It's even hard for him to do a bad one because he's trained this so much. But a bad hollow body rock, what happens is your back flattens, then you come up, then it flattens, then you come up, then it flattens, then you come up. If you're doing that, what you need to be doing is hybrid sets. Hybrid sets is when you do as many of the hollow body rocks as you can. You might only be able to do 4 or 5. And then you're going to rest for 10 to 20 seconds, and then you're going to go to a bent knee hollow body hold, just like in phase 1 of the program. So be very, very honest with yourself. Do not sit here doing 20 or 30 reps of these with really bad technique where you're just bottoming out and flattening your body between each rep. You must keep that beautiful curve in the spine so it's a nice rocking motion. And that is the bent knee hollow body rock.
Action.
Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. We release instructional videos and workouts every week on Monday in Australia or Sunday in America and Europe. And if there's any videos that you'd like us to make for you, if you've got any questions, any tutorials you'd like to see, please leave a comment. And we've actually now officially launched our FMS online training program. We haven't actually started advertising it yet, but it has had a soft launch. If you're interested in getting on board, it is an extremely low price. We're doing an introductory offer. It's only $39 US a month. You can get access to all of our training content, the program templates, everything that you need to do in order to follow the Foundation Movement System program online. And you'll also get access to our Movement Mastermind private Facebook group where you can work with me and my team and our senior members directly. You can upload your videos, we'll critique you, give you instruction, unlimited amounts, whatever you need, and you'll also learn from us by seeing the stuff that we're doing ourselves. If you're interested in that, please click the link in the description of this video, and we'll see you in the tribe. I'm going to need you to take this. You need a gym, hold the line, please. String curl. So this one, actually, okay, fuck. Yeah, it's all right. All right, now we're on to the bend.